The arrival. In the void of space, a sleek alien vessel sliced through the stars, its obsidian hull absorbing all light. Within, a race of hunters known as the Vaxxer prepared for their greatest hunt yet. Led by Commander Zarn, this elite group had traveled to the far reaches of the galaxy in search of the ultimate prey. Earth had captured their attention, a lush world teeming with life, savage predators, and most intriguing of all, the dominant species called humans. Zarn stood on the bridge, his reptilian eyes gleaming. These humans believe themselves the masters of their planet. We shall show them what it means to be hunted. The Vaxxer were armed with technologies beyond human comprehension: plasma rifles, invisibility cloaks, and armor resistant to all conventional weapons. They were the apex predators of the stars, their culture built around the thrill of stalking and killing the most dangerous game. As their ship entered Earth's atmosphere unseen, the hunters gathered, checking their weapons with clawed hands. "Remember," Zarn growled, "take trophies, but leave the humans. They are beneath us." The Vaxxer chuckled darkly, eager to taste blood. With a shimmer of cloaking fields, they beamed down into a remote wilderness, ready to unleash carnage on Earth's mightiest beasts. But little did they know that they had grossly underestimated their prey. The hunters were about to become the hunted, on a planet not quite as helpless as it seemed. As the Vaxxer melted into the forest, disappearing from sight, they failed to detect the hidden eyes tracking their every move. Human eyes, filled with fierce determination and a cunning that would soon be put to the test. The first hunt. The Vaxxer moved silently through the thick foliage, their cloaking rendering them invisible to all but the most observant eyes. They scanned the forest with advanced visors, biosignatures of nearby creatures lighting up their displays. Zarn motioned to his subordinate, "Crix, take point. Find us a worthy kill." Crix nodded, raising his plasma rifle as he stalked ahead. It didn't take long for him to spot a target: a massive grizzly bear, fishing in a stream. "A fine prize," Crix purred over the comm. He lined up his shot, the magnetic coils of his rifle charging with a low hum. The bear looked up, as if sensing the danger, but too late. Crix fired, and a lance of superheated plasma burst from the rifle, striking the bear in the skull. It collapsed instantly. "Too easy," another hunter, Serix, scoffed as they gathered around the kill. Zarn knelt, examining the smoldering wound. "This planet has already bored me. Let us hope it offers greater." He paused, his slit pupils narrowing. The forest had gone eerily quiet. "Do you feel that?" Crix hissed, gripping his rifle tighter. "Something's watching us." The hunters scanned the trees, their visors unable to pierce the dense green. A shadow flickered at the edge of their vision, there and gone in an instant. "Impossible," Serix growled. "Nothing on this primitive ball of dirt can see us, let alone stalk us." But even as he spoke, a creeping sensation crawled up their spines, ancient predatory instincts flaring warnings. In that moment, a glint of metal flashed from the undergrowth. A human trap, hidden and waiting. Razor wire, woven with uncanny skill, lashed out like a viper, coiling around Serix's legs. He let out a screech as the wire tightened, slicing through his armor and deep into his flesh. "Ambush!" Zarn roared, wheeling around, but more traps sprang from the foliage, ensnaring the hunters. They thrashed and fired wildly, but the wire held fast, anchored by an ingenious system of pulleys and counterweights. The Vaxxer's technology, for all its advancement, had been countered by simple human cunning. As the hunters struggled, camouflaged figures emerged from the trees, human soldiers, armed not with plasma, but with tactical gear and steely resolve in their eyes. They approached the ensnared Vaxxer with caution, weapons raised. "Welcome to Earth," the lead soldier spoke, his voice hard. "You picked the wrong planet to hunt on." And with those words, the Vaxxer realized the horrible truth. The humans had known they were coming. The hunters had fallen into a trap set by the very prey they had dismissed. The battle was about to begin, and the Vaxxer were no longer the only predators in the game. The human strike. The human soldiers circled the ensnared Vaxxer, weapons trained on the struggling aliens. The lead soldier, Captain John Reeves, stepped forward, his eyes hard behind his camo paint. "Listen up, E.T.," he growled. "We've been tracking your little hunting party since you entered the atmosphere. Did you really think you could just waltz onto our planet unnoticed?" Zarn hissed in fury, his cloak flickering as the razor wire bit deep. "You dare address us, human? You are nothing. A mere stepping stone on our path to glory." Reeves chuckled humorlessly. "Yeah, that's what they all say. But let me tell you something, lizard boy. We humans may not have your fancy tech or your claws, but we have something better." He leaned in close, his voice dropping to a whisper. "We have grit. And on Earth, grit beats tech every time." With a swift motion, Reeves jammed a device against Zarn's armor, an EMP grenade. It pulsed, and the Vaxxer's cloaking field shorted out, revealing their true forms. The soldiers tensed, fingers on triggers. "Here's how it's gonna go," Reeves continued. "You're going to call off your little safari. Then you're going to get back on your ship and fly away, and never even think about Earth again. Because if you don't," he smiled coldly, "well, let's just say we have a few more surprises in store." Zarn's eyes blazed with hate, but as he looked at his ensnared brethren, he saw the truth. They were outmatched, outwitted. These humans, these primitives, had bested them at their own game. "Very well, human," Zarn spat. "Release us, and we shall depart. But know this, the Vaxxer do not forget, and we do not forgive." Reeves shrugged, unimpressed. "Yeah, whatever. Just remember, Earth is off limits. Permanently." He nodded to his soldiers, who cautiously cut away the razor wire, keeping their weapons trained on the aliens. The Vaxxer staggered to their feet, bleeding and humiliated. They activated their beam-up devices, preparing to flee back to their ship. But as the teleportation fields shimmered around them, Zarn locked eyes with Reeves one last time. "This is not over, human," he vowed. "The hunt will continue, on other worlds, other prey. You have won this day, but the Vaxxer will never stop seeking the ultimate challenge." Reeves just smiled faintly. "Good luck with that. But a word of advice. Next time you go hunting, make sure you know what you're getting into. Because sometimes the prey bites back." And with those parting words, the Vaxxer vanished, leaving behind a world that had proven itself to be far more than just another hunting ground. Earth had shown its teeth, and the galaxy would remember. For the humans had taught a valuable lesson to all who would threaten them. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. Adapting tactics. In the aftermath of the clash, both sides regrouped, reassessing their strategies. The Vaxxer, safely back on their ship, seethed with rage and humiliation. They had come to Earth expecting an easy hunt, a showcase of their superiority. Instead, they had been bested by the very creatures they deemed beneath them. Zarn paced the bridge, his claws clicking against the metal floor. "Those humans," he snarled. "They knew we were coming. They prepared for us. How is this possible?" Crix, nursing his wounds, looked up. "They are more resourceful than we anticipated. Their technology may be primitive, but their tactics, they used the terrain against us, turned our own strengths into weaknesses." Zarn slammed his fist against a console, the metal denting under the blow. "Unacceptable. We are the Vaxxer, the apex predators. We will not be outmaneuvered by mere primates. We must adapt, evolve our hunting methods." On the planet's surface, Reeves and his team were also regrouping, fortifying their position. They knew the aliens would not give up so easily. "Those lizards will be back," Reeves muttered, checking his ammunition. "And they'll be pissed. We need to be ready for anything." Sergeant Emily Hale, his second in command, nodded grimly. "Our traps won't fool them twice. They'll be expecting our tricks now." Reeves scratched his chin, thinking. Then we change the game. We use their own arrogance against them. They think they're the ultimate hunters. Let's show them what real hunting looks like. The soldiers set to work, rigging the forest with new traps, camouflaging their positions, preparing for a different kind of war. They knew the Vaxxers' technology was superior, but the humans had something else on their side. They had centuries of guerrilla warfare experience, of turning weakness into strength, of making the enemy fight on their terms. In the depths of space, the Vaxxer ship hummed with activity as the hunters prepared for a second assault. They modified their weapons, adjusted their tactics, determined to not underestimate the humans again. This time, Zarn vowed, we will not be caught off guard. This time, we will show these humans the true meaning of fear. But even as the Vaxxer planned and schemed, the humans were already in motion. Reeves and his team melted into the wilderness, becoming one with the forest, invisible even to the aliens' advanced sensors. They were ready, waiting, a trap within a trap. The stage was set for a rematch, a battle of wits and wills between the most advanced hunters in the galaxy and the most tenacious prey they had ever faced. The Vaxxer thought they were prepared for anything, but they had yet to learn the true depths of human ingenuity and determination. The hunt was about to begin anew, but this time, the rules had changed, and in this game, there could only be one victor. Turning the tables. The Vaxxer beamed back down to the forest, their weapons primed, their senses heightened. They would not make the same mistake twice. This time, they were ready for the humans' trickery. Or so they thought. As they stalked through the undergrowth, scanning for any sign of their prey, they failed to notice the subtle changes in the environment. The placement of rocks, the angle of branches, all carefully arranged by Reeves and his team. It started with a whisper of movement, a flicker at the edge of the Vaxxer's vision. They whirled, plasma rifles at the ready, but there was nothing there, just a swaying branch, a rustling leaf. Spread out, Zarn ordered, his voice tight with tension. Find them. The hunters fanned out, moving with predatory grace. But as they advanced, the forest seemed to shift around them. Trees that had provided clear lines of sight now obscured their vision. Paths that had been open now led to dead ends. Crix paused, a growl rumbling in his throat. Something's wrong. The terrain, it's different. Impossible. Syrinx snapped. It's just a forest. Keep moving. But even as he spoke, a sharp crack echoed through the trees. A snapping twig, a signal. The humans burst from the foliage, weapons blazing, their camouflage rendering them almost invisible against the green. The Vaxxer fired back, plasma bolts sizzling through the air, but the humans were too quick, too elusive. They darted behind trees, rolled into hollows, using the terrain like a living shield. Reeves popped up from behind a boulder, firing a burst from his rifle. The bullets pinged off Zarn's armor, but they served their purpose, driving the Vaxxer leader back, separating him from his team. Now, Reeves shouted, and the forest erupted with motion. Hail swung down from a tree branch, landing on Crix's back, a combat knife in hand. Crix roared, trying to shake her off, but Hail held fast, driving the blade into the gaps of his armor. Other soldiers emerged from hidden foxholes, tossing stun grenades that filled the air with blinding light and deafening sound. The Vaxxers' advanced senses, so attuned to hunting, became a liability as they staggered, disoriented. Zarn rallied his hunters, trying to regroup, but everywhere they turned, the humans were there, striking from shadows, disappearing into the green, an omnipresent threat. Fall back, Zarn commanded, his pride bitter on his tongue. Back to the ship. The Vaxxer began to retreat, their cloaking flickering as they tried to evade the humans' relentless assault. But the soldiers pressed their advantage, hurting the aliens, driving them like prey. For the Vaxxer, it was a sensation they had never known. The primal fear of being hunted, of being overmatched. Their technology, their strength, their skills, all rendered useless by human adaptability and tenacity. As they fled back to their beam-out point, plasma firing wildly behind them, the truth sank in like a leaden weight. The humans hadn't just leveled the playing field. They had tilted it, turned the Vaxxers' own tactics against them. The hunters had become the hunted, and the bitter taste of defeat was a poison on their tongues. But the battle was not over yet. There was still one last chance, one final gambit. The Vaxxer had underestimated the humans for the last time. Now it was all or nothing, a desperate final stand against a foe that had proven themselves to be the ultimate predators. The end was coming, but who would emerge victorious was still to be decided. The final confrontation. Battered and bloodied, the Vaxxer regrouped at their beam-out point, a small clearing in the heart of the forest. They had lost hunters, their pride, and their certainty of victory. But they still had their fury, their determination to salvage some scrap of honor from this disastrous hunt. Zarn stood at the center of the clearing, his armor dented and scorched. "This ends now," he growled. "No more running, no more tricks. We stand and fight, and we show these humans what it means to face the Vaxxer." The hunters nodded, gripping their weapons tightly. They formed a defensive perimeter, facing outward, ready for the final confrontation. The hunters nodded, gripping their weapons tightly. They formed a defensive perimeter, facing outward, ready for the final confrontation. But the forest was silent, still. No sign of the humans, no hint of an attack. Minutes ticked by, the tension mounting with each passing heartbeat. Then a voice echoed from the trees. Reeves, his tone mocking. "What's the matter, lizards? Getting tired of our hospitality?" Zarn snarled, his head swiveling, trying to pinpoint the source of the voice. "Come out and face us, human, or are you too cowardly to fight your own battles?" A chuckle, then Reeves stepped out from behind a tree, his rifle held loosely at his side. "Oh, I'm no coward. I just wanted to give you a chance to surrender. Last chance to walk away with your lives." "Surrender?" Sarek spat. "To you. Never. The Vaxxer do not yield to lesser beings." Reeves shrugged. "Suit yourself, but don't say I didn't warn you." He raised his hand, and the forest erupted. Soldiers burst from the underbrush, rappelled down from trees, charged from hidden trenches. They came from all sides, a tidal wave of human determination and skill. The Vaxxer opened fire, plasma searing the air, but the humans were too many, too well coordinated. They swarmed the aliens, engaging in brutal close-quarters combat. Hale tackled Crix, the two rolling in a tangle of limbs and blades. Sarek found himself grappling with a bear of a man, muscles straining as they fought for dominance. And at the center of it all, Reeves and Zarn clashed, a battle of leaders, of ideologies. They traded blows, fists and feet, armor and bone. "You think you've won," Zarn panted, blood dripping from his maw. "You are nothing. We will return, with more hunters, more." "You think you've won," Zarn panted, blood dripping from his maw. "You are nothing. We will return, with more hunters, more ships. We will scour this planet clean of your kind." Reeves smiled grimly, circling the Vaxxer leader. "No, you won't, because we won't let you. Earth is not your hunting ground, and humanity is not your prey. We are the masters of our own destiny, and we will fight to our last breath to defend what's ours." Around them, the battle raged, humans and Vaxxer locked in mortal combat. But slowly, inexorably, the tide began to turn. The Vaxxers' numbers dwindled, their weapons spent, their strength fading. Hale finally subdued Crix, the alien hunter going limp beneath her chokehold. Sarek fell to a hail of bullets, his armor shattered, his life leaking away. One by one, the Vaxxer were defeated, beaten by the sheer indomitable will of their human foes. And then, it was just Reeves and Zarn, two leaders, two warriors, facing each other across a clearing strewn with the casualties of their conflict. Zarn lunged, a final desperate attack, But Reeves was ready. He sidestepped, letting the alien's momentum carry him past, then brought his rifle up in a vicious arc. The butt of the weapon connected with Zarn's skull with a sickening crunch, and the Vaxxer crumpled, his fight over. Reeves stood over his fallen foe, chest heaving, adrenaline still surging. Around him, his soldiers secured the area, checking for any remaining threats. "It's over," Hale said, limping to his side. "We won." Reeves nodded slowly, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders. For now. But Zarn was right about one thing. They'll be back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But someday, some other alien race will come to Earth, looking for easy prey. He turned to face his team, his brothers and sisters in arms. "And when they do, we'll be ready. Because that's what humans do. We fight, we adapt, we survive. And no matter what the universe throws at us, we will never, ever stop defending our home." The soldiers nodded, grim determination etched on their faces. They had faced the Vaxxer, the most fearsome hunters in the galaxy, and they had triumphed. But more than that, they had sent a message, a warning to any who would follow in the aliens' footsteps. Earth was not to be trifled with. Humanity was not to be underestimated. For on this small blue planet, a species had arisen that could stare down the stars themselves and refuse to blink. The Vaxxer had come to hunt, but in the end, it was they who had been hunted, they who had been found wanting. And as their broken bodies were gathered up and jettisoned into the cold void of space, a lesson echoed across the galaxy, a truth that would be forever etched into the annals of cosmic history. On Earth, the hunter can become the hunted. On Earth, the prey can become the predator. On Earth, there are no easy victories, no certain conquests. There is only the eternal struggle, the unending fight for survival. And in that struggle, it is humanity that stands tall, unbowed and unbroken. For this is our world, our home, and we will defend it, now and always, against any who would seek to take it from us.